um, what's your background with Nintendo games? Like, you got any specific favorites? Because I know you're not much of a gamer, right?
Right.
Hello, everybody, and this is a special little interview episode. Something new, something different. Nintendo Switch 2 got announced with all of its new fun bells and whistles yesterday, and upon my night last night driving my truck, I was sitting there listening to all these podcasts and everybody's thoughts and opinions and all these people who are deep into the world of video games. And after you listen to so much, you start to hear the same opinions over and over and over again. And I don't necessarily have a platform myself, like my own YouTube or anything like that. So I'm here on Gamer Social Club channel to this is where I do usually talk and usually share my stuff. And you know, people like Dano, he really likes to get his thoughts out onto paper, and I really just like talking it out with people. And since we're not doing the podcast right now, I was like, you know what, let's try something a little different this time around. So after listening to all those podcasts last night, I was like, the one person that I actually really want to hear from is someone like my wife here, Megan.
Hi.
I think that she has a very unique insight to give on the price point of the Switch, and she watched the direct with me, so she knows some things. And you know, while she may not like totally get all of the nerdy crap about HDR and 120 frames per second and all that stuff, she does have an appreciation for this stuff. What's your background with Nintendo games? Like, you got any specific favorites? Because I know you're not much of a gamer, right?
Right. So, growing up, I had a lot of siblings, 10 of us, so big family. And I remember something that was very present was the Super Nintendo. And we loved it. We all loved it. And I specifically loved Kirby All-Star. That was my favorite. Hence my Kirby tattoo. And yeah, I remember all of us playing together. It was fun to kind of get lost in that world. It was a good distraction in the chaos. It was kind of nice, specifically with Kirby, just kind of floating through, doing his thing. And yeah, I had a lot of fun, a lot of memories playing with my siblings, and yeah, we would get competitive.
But since you were a kid, what's your relationship with a Nintendo console in general? Like, since that era of your life.
So since then, we've had a Switch on and off, me and you, and we've had many intense Mario Kart races where I got slightly competitive.
Just a little bit domestic abusey. Do you see how she hits me?
And I have lots of memories of like when I was pregnant and we would play Super Mario Brothers together. Like, I specifically remember Anya being like real tiny, walking around. I was pregnant with, Marshall, and have lots of good memories leading into the birth of us playing those kinds of games. And I've never really lost my love for it.
Yeah. So we sold our Switch in November, maybe?
Yeah.
We sold our Switch in November because, my thought was like, oh, well, the Switch 2 is going to come out soon and we'll just get a Switch 2 then. And we needed the money at the time, so we sold it. That was November. It's now April. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the beginning of April. Mm-hmm. So have you noticed?
Yes, I have, because our daughter is about to turn 6 and she's really entering the video game world. And there's been so many times where I'm like, we should all play the Switch together. And I'm like, oh gosh, we don't have one. Yeah. And especially because there's a lot of age-appropriate games for her. but it's still fun for adults too. You know, it's not like childish, you know? So, yeah, I have missed it. Definitely.
Do you care about all the bells and whistles, or do you just simply want a Mario game in the house?
Well, I mean, I want a Mario game. I want Donkey Kong. I want Kirby, the flight. What was it like?
The air ride. Yeah.
No, I mean, I want to have a good selection of games for sure.
Okay.
I think having some variety would be fun, and it would also be fun because there's lots of cousins, and then when they come over, they would love that, and so yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So this is the big question, and I'm asking her like for the first time. I didn't prep her on any of this stuff because I wanted like a real genuine reaction or whatever. So in an alternate reality,
oh no,
where I died.
This is a loaded question.
An alternate reality where I died 5 years ago in this tragic car accident. I just went through the windshield, bajillion miles an hour.
Okay.
Dead on impact.
Okay. Not something I've given much thought to.
After grieving me the appropriate amount of time. And moving on with your life. Moving on with your life. And you're rocking it single mother style.
Okay.
And you're living off a life of good life insurance money from, my death.
Where is this going? Just get to it.
And you have like, I don't know, let's just say you got like $1,000 put away in a savings account somewhere. And, you wipe the tears from your eyes and you get out of bed. And you remember the good times we had playing Mario. And you're like, I would like to have those good times with my children. So you walk into a GameStop and the guy at the counter is kind of smelly, and he's kind of sexist too. Because he's thinking, oh, here's a woman, she doesn't know anything.
Like,
so
you
then
don't know who I was married to.
So then you walk up to the counter, and he's like, here, I'm going to sell you this, that, and the other thing. You're like, oh, hold on. I used to watch the Direct with my husband when he was alive 5 years ago. I know a thing or two about a thing or two. So in this alternate reality, all you know is that you got $1,000 saved up. It's the middle of summer. This is not for a Christmas gift. This is not for birthday gifts. You are just simply thinking, I would kind of like to have Mario games and Kirby games to experience for myself and for the kids. I'm going to try getting into this as a hobby. So you go up to the smelly, sexist man at the desk.
Why is he smelly?
Because he's sexist. But so you go up to him and he's like, here, can I sell you this PS5 Pro? It definitely doesn't have bad controllers with it, with no stick drift. And you say, no thanks, sir, but I am interested in a Nintendo Switch. But I don't know which Switch I want.
Okay.
So, dude, you have the option of A, the Nintendo Switch 1 for $300. Comes with Mario Kart 8.
Okay.
Then you have the option of Nintendo Switch 2 for $500 with Mario Kart World. But, it's more new, it's better.
I know, because it's number 2.
Yes, exactly, because it's number 2. And, let's just pretend you didn't watch the Direct yesterday, so you don't know what all the new things are in this world.
I know me. I am going to research.
You're going to research.
Okay, immediately.
So
I would never just go buy something without researching.
So then you find out that the games for the Nintendo Switch 2 are $80. And versus the Nintendo Switch 1 has $60 games. Now, of course, the Switch 2 is going to be the thing going forward. So, they're going to stop making games for the Switch 1. They're going to only make games for the Switch 2.
So I know what I would do.
I get what's going on through your head in this decision in front of the stinky sexist man.
Well, my thing is, that I wouldn't necessarily go to GameStop first thing. I might, message people, see what options are out there used. And also see if I can get like a bundle deal on even used Nintendo.
But this has to be retail price. No, it has to be in this GameStop. You've got $1,000 in your pocket. You're probably going to go on you're going to go spending all the rest of the money on a thrift store shopping spree. So
okay, so
really
I guess
really, gauge the level of importance of.
So, as a single
Price
mother
differences.
who lost her husband 5 years ago in a tragic car accident.
Died on impact.
Saving money would be important. Now, I guess I don't know all the games on the first Nintendo Switch. So, like I said, I would do research, but something I did notice, and I would again figure this out from research, because in this scenario, I didn't watch the thing or whatever. I noticed there were a lot of games that, for Nintendo, the second Nintendo Switch, that were would be enjoyable to older kids and even adults. I can't remember the names of all of them, but they had some pretty intense looking games that weren't really kid friendly. Mm. So depending on the age of my kids, I think that would kind of be nice, because it's they wouldn't age out of it. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I said, I don't know all the games on the first Nintendo. Now as far as the cost of the games, I mean, 80 is pretty steep. So I guess it would just depend on what, we're gonna have to picky and choosy with what games we buy, and make sure it's gonna be something the kids would really like for a while, make it worth it. And at the end of the day, I think it would make more sense to buy, the second console, knowing that the first one, they're going to stop making games for it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you know how kids are, and even adults, they kind of want the latest and newest stuff anyway. Yeah. And even, I know that's, some people don't care as much about that, but some people do.
But is the latest and newest, as a single mother of 2 children, is the latest and newest important to you at all? Important enough to go ahead and fork out the extra $200.
But that's
either way, at the end of the day, you're walking home with a Mario Kart game.
I know how I am,
what
though,
I mean?
And I would have to talk to the kids and do what I could based on what's most important to them. Now, I know, money's money and you can't always fork it out. But if it's something that's really important to them, I would probably try to make it work.
Okay.
But I would really have to compare the pros and cons of both consoles, because, if the pros aren't that much better, then no, it's not going to be worth it.
Okay. But
from what I saw, it looks like the games were really good. Mm. And in my opinion, it seems like it would be worth it, despite, the extra cost of things.
Yeah.
But it is a hard one. It is a hard one because it is very expensive.
I know. I guess what I'm trying to gauge is, do you see yourself buying games frequently on the Switch 2 at $80 a piece?
Probably, in all reality, probably not, because even if I wasn't a single mom, that's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for us now.
Which kind of leads to, my next question of, we both share the same finances. We're not well off or anything. We do okay. We're definitely.
I really want it though.
But we really want it. So before watching it yesterday, and like I said earlier, we've been without a Switch since November, and we both noticed we have missed it. Mm-hmm. So going forward is. Right now, the Meghan today with a husband who didn't die 5 years ago in a car crash, tragically died on impact.
Oh my gosh.
With our finances the way it is, do you see us trying to save up to get that newest and latest and greatest?
I do.
I
do. And I see us being more picky about what games we're going to buy.
Yeah.
And not just doling out buying every new game that comes out.
Yeah.
And I envision us having to sit down with the kids and be like, hey, which ones are most important, and then seeing what we can do to make that happen. It's not going to be so much, like I said, just buying everything that comes out. It's going to be like, no, we got to be sure. We got to be sure this is one you like, you want, and you're going to play. Yep. And so, yes, I see us doing it, but just being more conscious of how we go about the spending of it, buying games and stuff.
Yeah. That was kind of my thought of it, too.
Because it looks really nice. It looks like there are going to be some really cool games. There's going to be games on there that you would really enjoy.
Yeah.
And, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, does the first Nintendo Switch have some of those, like, adult-type game options to the degree that the second one's going to have?
She's mainly referring to, like, Elden Ring and Madden and stuff. It didn't.
See, and I think that's a big deal. I think that's a big deal in the sense of there are a lot of gamers out there who aren't super hardcore. They just want to mess around with stuff like Madden or, and I could see somebody being like, oh, this is a great console because it has a little bit of, something for the whole family. Yeah. And just buying that one console and not worrying about, the other consoles. So not everybody. Yeah. But there are some really, light gamers that they enjoy messing around with it, but they're not hardcore,
I think like...
So I think it's situation to situation.
Yeah.
Depending, are you gonna consistently play this? Will it be worth it for you? Or is it something you would just occasionally play with your kids, or your kids would occasionally play? Then, it might be worth it to get the first one. Yeah. Just keep the first one.
Yeah. I think that's all the questions I have. Like I said, I just thought it'd be really cool to get your opinion, especially from somebody who just doesn't play video games and doesn't have a horse in the race.
I play sometimes.
Sometimes. After she beats my ass after I beat her ass in Mario Kart.
That's because he was cheating. Somehow. Okay. Somehow.
But yeah, all right. Well, yeah, thanks for coming You're welcome. Here today into our kitchen in front of God's green screen.
Oh, okay.
To do.
You're welcome. It was an honor.
And who knows? Maybe she'll be back for a Friday night podcast soon. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
maybe.
Yeah.